The reason I won't be going back to Alabama is because of my sister's husband. I honestly didn't want to go this time around because of what happened last time, which I'll get into in just a minute. But I did want to support my niece and nephew by going to their games. It was my niece's first time playing in a band and my nephew's first time playing toddler soccer. And I didn't want to miss that. I also wanted to make memories by sharing those moments on my platform so that I have something to look back on when I get older. So before I left home, I said a prayer to God because I knew I was going to leave, and I also planned to go to church while I was down there. I asked God to speak through the pastor about truth and to continue revealing people's true intentions. Now this is where the testimony comes in at. But hold on. So when we arrived at my sister's house, we greeted everyone. We settled in, talked, the usual whoop-de-whoop, except for the in-law. Now mind y'all, he's usually the first one to speak and the first one to meet us outside to help unload the car. But this time was different. And no, we don't expect him to do that all the time or at all. But at this point, God was telling me to pay attention to actions. So the next day, the in-law said something to me. He wanted me to help him sell some crystals, and I said, okay. Side note, now he didn't know nothing about them and told me that he's been searching for somebody to help him sell them. Now back to the story. I told him these are some good quality crystals, and I asked him if he tried to do some research about them. He told me no, and that's where I come in at, basically doing all the work for him, which I didn't mind, and proceeds to say he was going to give me a percentage of it. But I told him I wanted my pay to be half because I am doing all the work, and when you know your worth, you know your worth. So that means I will be learning about each crystal, setting up the website, and selling the products, let alone packaging them. On top of handling people when they didn't get their package in the mail because of mail carriers, or when people got it and still said that they didn't get it, basically stealing and trying to get over. Because I already know how people are in this world, and plus I hear stories all the time about businesses. People stealing their products and sending back something else in the mail, so that by itself is already a lot of work, which he knew nothing of, as you can tell. So he was already trying to get over on me. And if you know about setting up a website, then you know that's hard work by itself. Keep in mind, I had already knew about some of these crystals, so it wasn't a big deal to me. But when I said I wanted half, he said, never mind, I would get somebody else to do it. So I laughed and said, okay, then proceed to say, then if you're going to get somebody else to do it, if I were you, I would learn about them because someone can easily get over on you with these crystals. Me being nice, trying to help him, so he won't get taken advantage of. And if y'all know about crystals, then y'all know the price that people would pay for them versus someone who don't know about them can easily get taken advantage of. That's all I said, and he just proceeds to speak out of anger, as usual, saying, I don't have to do all of that. That's what people under me for. Trying to throw shade, and says nobody is thinking that way, trying to get over on people, which I just took it as that you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink type situation. At this point, he was just still trying to get mad for no reason, just saying weird stuff, basically. Trying to throw more shade, which I always ignore because don't nobody really get to me with stuff I already gotten through, especially looking at other people's lives that ain't no better, but anywho. Side note, when you speak from love and light, it exposes darkness. Evil can't stand truth, peace, or genuine goodness because it forces what's hidden or deceptive to come into the open. That's why when people who operate from darkness may feel threatened, uncomfortable, or even hostile when faced with someone speaking truth with pure intentions. And that's speaking on anything. So God was showing me more of his bad intentions towards me. Y'all, I even threw myself under the bus by saying, look at my business. It didn't turn out right because I didn't learn anything about it before starting it. I just went into it thinking I was going to learn along the way, but it still didn't work out for me. This was before I knew anything about businesses. So me learning from my mistakes, I was trying to teach him. Really trying to get him to understand, but you can't help everybody. Then he ended up saying that I can't come back down there, or if I do, I need to find a hotel to stay at. Mind you, I didn't really want to come down there in the first place, but all I could say was, thank you, God, because he wasn't doing nothing but confirming things for me. So fast forward Sunday earlier that morning, he was just still walking around throwing shade. Mind y'all, he was doing this all week after the issue on Tuesday. Like, come on now. He would make sure when he was on the phone to say the parts about money, making money, and basically how to get it in front of me, then walk away into the next room. Like, he made it so obvious of what he was trying to do. It even got to the point where he was speaking to his children saying, don't date no dummy. Basically trying to refer to me and this and that, but saying it out loud so that I can hear it And mind y'all, I play a fool to the full all the time. I ain't never been on dummy. I just knew how to act like one in front of one. Side note, it seemed like ever since I stopped working, everybody in his family trying to throw shade about money when I was the main one working and making money, let alone supporting them. But this is how delusional people can get. And I know this is God showing me this is what people do and say when money is in the wrong hands. So it's just clarification for me. So all I could do was laugh because this is how childish he really is. And yes, I did at this point started to retaliate a little bit because I've been minding my business the whole time I was there, and he just steady more trying to pick with me. This is how people act when they can't get over on you, by the way. But what I said to my mom quietly, but as he was walking past me, that he's the main one that needs to go to church. He walked all the way in the room and came back to ask, what did I say? Mind y'all, he already knew the whole time what I said, but I guess he needed confirmation. So I said, was I talking to you? Then he proceeds to repeat what I said and got mad. And I know you're thinking I should have been a bigger person in this situation. But I have all week, and God was now speaking through me on this Sunday, speaking truth. He was the only one who got mad because there was some truth to it. People cannot take what they dish out because all they're doing is projecting what and who they are. When I mirrored him with the same energy he was giving me, he couldn't take it. But this is what God do. He makes your enemies tell on themselves so you will know the truth about them, so you're able to judge them righteously. So it was very obvious of what he was trying to do and say. So arriving to church on Sunday, my sister had told me it wasn't her original pastor that be speaking there. And I said, okay. I'm thinking in my head, God should still be able to get the word out through his people by any means, which he did. And when I say this preacher has spoke on everything about the truth and how to speak it with family, friends, and even at work, just exposing the truth so that darkness can be exposed and bring light to situations that's hidden or trying to hide. When I tell y'all being in an experience like that brought tears to my eyes because God not only spoke the truth through the pastor, but he also showed me more of people's true colors during this trip, which I asked for him to do. And he definitely delivered, baby. All I can say is never underestimate the power of God. And no, I did not mention none of this stuff to my sister. And why you may ask? Because she never says or do anything to the stuff he do or say, even if it's right in front of her, which has been going on for years now. So it will be a waste of my time and breath to even say anything. Everything gets blamed on liquor, even the flirting towards me, which is crazy. So you tell me what I should have done differently. No matter how many times I try to put the stuff he do and say in the past, it still occurs because he does the same thing every time. He has always been weird towards me since I was young. But anywho, enough was enough. It's sad when you can't even see your own family because of immature adults that never fully develop as adults. Some adults in this world think because they have materialistics, it makes them grown. But those are the main people that needs growth mentally. It's never about what you have because you can lose that any day. So I'm good on telling my truth to certain people who don't even care to listen, let alone they would rather sit up to hear a lie or lie to themselves. And it's not gossip or judgment, it's clarity. People's own actions reveal who they are, and sometimes God's allowed the truth to come to the light through his people by speaking it in various ways. So silence is what I used to do, but not no more. Y'all, I'm in my speaking up on truth because I'm tired of that bullshit season. Hello.